broadcast Missoula. It's time for Montana's only daily sports talk show, Nuanez Now. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
I like football!
Now here's your host, Coulter Nuanez.
What up, Montana? Welcome in. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, as well as SWX Montana Television. I am Coulter Nuanez. We are coming to you from the Northwest Motorsports Studio. Hope you're having a great Tuesday. Appreciate you being here with me here on ESPN Radio. We're going to take you all the way around the wide world of sports here throughout the state of Montana and on the national level as well. So very excited to be with you once again. And it's been an interesting day because we got a couple moving balls, couple juggles going on here at Missoula Broadcasting Company. But we got it done. Got Jeff Safford back running the board today. So our guy who's the voice of the Paddleheads and now also the voice of Grizz Lacrosse and the voice of Grizz Hockey moving forward, he is on the controls because Andrew Houghton had a little pet deal he had to take care of. He's got his cat. He needs to get his cataracts checked or something like that. I don't know. I don't have pets, but I know almost everybody else in the world does. So hopefully that's going well. But Andrew and I had a NBA discussion planned, but instead it'll be our good friend, his illustrious return. How about this? I'm going to get Tutel times 2 this week. Austin Tutel, our good friend and NBA expert, will join us about 5 o'clock. And then tomorrow, the illustrious return of the one and only Ryan Tutel, the guy who I did this show with for the better part of 3 years. He'll swing by as part of our 10th anniversary celebration, 10th anniversary here of ESPN Missoula. So very much looking forward to catching up with both of my good friends, two of the best brother pairs that I know anywhere on the earth. So excited for Austin to come by. And Austin's just a great guy when it comes to the NBA because he watches so much of it. And he also is just so enthusiastic and excited about it. So he'll get us hyped up. He'll let us know all the ins and outs of the storylines because we've been sort of dragging our feet on diving into the NBA. But now the NFL is over, so we need some sort of pro sports fix to go with all of our daily coverage of everything that's going on around the state of Montana. If you want to get in touch with us, you want to be a part of the show, what did you think of the Super Bowl? What questions do you have about the greater sporting world? What's up with the Big Sky Conference when it comes to men's and women's hoops? Any and all questions, comments, commentary, all of that, you can always get a hold of us by texting and or calling 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029. And all guests will join us via the Rangish Brothers RV phone line. And so if you want to be a part of the show, 406-888-1029. 1029. You're going to need to remember that as well because we have a text to win this week. It's a Tuesday, so that means there's a Taglieri Tuesday. We got $25 gift card to Taglieri Delicatessen ready for you about 4:45. So stay tuned for that. And love having Tag as a part of our Tuesdays here on Nuanez Now. If you want to stream the show, you can always do that on your various mobile devices. Whether you're talking your cell phone, your tablet, your laptop, anything in between, you can always go to our station website, 1029ESPN.com. Click on the Listen Live tab, and you will find the stream. Also, you can always stream the show on YouTube. Nuanez Now will get you there, Nuanez. Please rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. 5 stars preferred. And trying to get that YouTube channel built up a little bit, so please go ahead and do that. You will not be disappointed. It's a great way to stream the show, whether you want to watch and or listen to it, but it also gives you alerts whenever Nuanez Now is coming on. So not that you need a reminder, 4 to 6 every weekday. You already know, but if you do want to go the YouTube route, you certainly can. We are broadcasting to you from the Northwest Motorsport Studio. Find amazing winter savings in Northwest Motorsport. You can visit nwmsrocks.com for the biggest selection of lifted trucks, diesel trucks, SUVs, and more. Take back the road with Northwest Motorsport. Let's take a look at some stuff around the wide world of sports. We're going to get into some more Grizz hoops. We had our Grizz Star of the Week today. Usually we do that on Wednesdays, but because of a couple scheduling things and the fact that the men's basketball team is on the road on Thursday at Idaho, combined with the fact that University of Montana Sports Information Director Nick Hallisey, who's the go-to guy for Grizz hoops when it comes to media contact, he just had a baby. So congratulations to he and his wife, Dana. Very cool. A little less than a week ago. A son, baby boy named Walter. So awesome for them. Super cool. That they are bringing life into this world. They're great people, and very happy for the Halliseys. But because of that, Nick's got a couple weeks off, well-deserved. And so, variety of different things. But Riley Corcoran, the voice of the Grizz, who joins us once a week here on Nuanez now, sometimes twice a week, he'll be our Grizz Star of the Week, and we'll play that for you today because we got some other stuff cooking tomorrow. Upcoming later on this week and into this weekend, Big Sky Documentary Film Festival gets going in Missoula. The return of the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival. It's been exclusively online and then kind of online, but now it's going to be both online and in person. So you can see documentaries all around the Garden City for the better part of 2 weeks. And so we will be going off the beaten path and doing some sweet interviews. One of my favorite things we do around here, no question about it. One of the great events that we got going in the city of Missoula. So we'll have some space to fill, and we'll also use our space and let them fill it and sort of reorganize the show just a little bit just for the next couple weeks. I know you're into a good routine right now, but always fun to help out with those. And you'll meet so many cool people. You learn so much about different parts of the world and different people in the world. And it just always brings me back to one of the things that keeps me going each and every day. Humans are amazing. Humans are so talented. I just love absorbing and consuming and exploring all the variety of talents that people on this earth share with each other. It's very, very cool, and I've met so many fascinating people through the Big Sky Doc Fest, so very excited to reinstitute that. So Grizz Star of the Week will be coming up here in about 20 minutes with Riley Corcoran. We're also going to have our Treasure State Stars for the week, highlighting some of the best individual performances from around the state of Montana by Montanans. Again, Austin Tutel going to come in. We're going to talk Ben Simmons, James Harden trade. We're going to talk Domantas Sabonis getting sent to prison. Oh, I mean, by the way, not prison, Sacramento. And what does it mean for Tyrese Halliburton? What some people were saying was one of the most untradeable assets in the NBA instead is on the move. And a variety of other things. Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies sort of taking the NBA by storm right now. Are they a real contender? The Los Angeles Lakers, they are not a real contender. That in itself is strange. What do the Lakers do? We have all sorts of NBA stuff to talk about. And then we're going to have a young lady who is an accomplished basketball player. She's heading to Point Loma Nazarene, a Division II school down in San Diego, on a basketball scholarship, but also a great contributor to her community. A youth basketball coach who's also raised some money for scholarships for the Upstart basketball program in Billings. Upstart is a youth program that helps kids get involved in hoops. So Allie Cummings from Billings Senior, she's our Mattress Firm Student of the Week, and she will join us about 5:30. I know that I waxed poetic for quite a while in both hour 1 and hour 2 yesterday about Cooper Kupp because it's just awesome, I think, that he has done what he's done and that we had such a front row view of that from our venture at Skyline Sports as well as our venture here at ESPN Radio. And it just keeps getting cooler, man. And the more it sinks in, it's very awesome. Right before we came on the air, you probably saw the little highlight package / great feature story that our guy Sean Rainey from SWX Montana put together. That was running on SWX right before you tuned in here. And a great angle. Sean interviewed a bunch of the old Grizz corners, asking them, what was it like to try to guard Cooper Kupp. And I think it's been very vindicating for me to have saw this guy's talent and proclaimed this guy's talent and given him an unbelievable amount of coverage to just try to reemphasize to the world at large just how talented he is. but also very fun to hear from those guys because I think they're vindicated too. In the moment, you're never happy about giving up 9 catches for 180 yards like he had in Missoula one time back when he was either a freshman or a sophomore. But then when you see him go for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, I think you realize, hey, I couldn't guard him, but neither can that guy, and neither can that guy, neither can that guy, neither can anybody. That's how good Cooper Kupp has been. So sorry for talking about it so much, but I just think it's so cool. But I also think it's so affirming and so revelatory for the Big Sky Conference. It's a great affirmation of the quality of football and the quality of athletes that come out of the Big Sky. I think we're going to have a couple other athletes coming out soon that are really going to leave their mark on a national level, whether it comes to track and field or at the NFL. I think Troy Anderson has a legitimate shot to be sort of cut out of that Cooper Kupp mold when he gets to the NFL, obviously playing a different position and probably a different side of the ball, although who knows? I think Troy Anderson can play offense in the NFL too from Montana State. And also I think we're going to see a young lady in Darian White at Montana State as well, Montana State women's basketball team that's going to play basketball for a long time too. So there's some very talented athletes coming through the ranks here in the Treasure State, and very cool to have a front row seat to watch all of that. Speaking of world-class athletes from Montana, before we get into some hoop stuff from last night, a couple different things I wanted to mention here. First, Maggie Voisin. She's been on this show a couple times. Whitefish product Olympian for the 3rd time on the U.S. ski team. Maggie, she finished 5th in the women's slopestyle. Her second run was probably her best run. Got her in the top 3 for just a moment, but she just misses the podium. Her last mark, some on Twitter were saying they thought it was a little bit underscored. So here nor there, I don't really know the nuances enough about slopestyle, the specific skiing event, to really analyze it on any deeper level than it's just really cool that there's a young lady from the state of Montana that is in her 3rd Olympics and gave it one last run. She has experienced an unbelievable amount of adversity in her life. You know, for being the youngest Olympian on Team USA back in Sochi 2 Winter Olympics ago. She was only 15 years old back then. To then snapping her fibula and having to have a massive recovery to even get back to even have an opportunity to go to a 3rd Olympics. To then the suicide of her brother, which she so graciously and courageously talked about in the media leading up to these Winter Olympics in Beijing. She's a wonderful representative of Montana. She's a wonderful young lady. We love having her around here, and when Maggie gets back from China, we will certainly give her a call and try to get her on the radio because it's a phenomenal story. It's a great story of perseverance and a great story of her career, which has been most excellent in freestyle skiing. Another Whitefish product, Jake Sanderson, he had a little COVID roller coaster to navigate early, but then he's back. He's playing for the Team USA hockey team, and Team USA pulls the upset a couple nights ago. They beat Canada, and Jake Sanderson had an assist. So our Montanans, we got 4 of them over there in the Olympics, and a couple of them, the pair from Whitefish, Maggie Voisin and Jake Sanderson, great returns early on. So doing us proud, making us Montanans proud. So very cool for them. Speaking of skiing, Saturday, February 26th, that's not this Saturday, but next Saturday, you can support the men's and women's Lost Trail Ski Patrol, who keep all of us safe at Lost Trail's 37th annual Steak Fry with a barbecue dinner, live music, and torchlight parade. You can enjoy great food, brews by Great Burn Brewery, and awesome Weisenborn slide guitar music by Dan Duque out of Whitefish. Tickets can be purchased at the Lost Trail Patrol Base Shack. $20 for the steak dinner, $12 for a hamburger dinner. You can also buy online, losttrail.com/steak fry. Just remember that website, losttrail.com. You can check out all current conditions, all promotions, everything that's going on up at Lost Trail. Lost Trail, go for the snow. One other athlete that is making waves across the sporting landscape that I wanted to highlight before we move into some basketball talk is Lucy Corbett. I've told you, and I've been really preaching and reemphasizing the growing legend that is Duncan Hamilton, distance runner at Montana State University. He is among the best distance runners in the nation, not just at the collegiate level, but period. He was in the Olympic trials last summer and barely missed out on making Team USA in the 3,000-meter steeplechase. And already this fall/winter indoor season, he's run one of the top 3K times in the country. He has run a sub-4-minute mile, and he's been all over the place getting national recognition. Well, he's from Bozeman. How amazing is this? Lucy Corbett is also from Bozeman, and she, if you watch the video, it's amazing. She has been one of the best high jumpers in the conference in the Big Sky the last couple of years. And she's been, 5'9.5" all the way up to 5'10.5", which is great jumps for any level of college track, but particularly in the Big Sky. And she's won a Big Sky title, indoor and outdoor. But last week, she took the thing all the way to the stratosphere. She attempted at 5'11.5", cleared it. New personal best. Then she attempted at 6 foot and 1/2 inch, cleared it easily, so she keeps on going. She goes for 6'1", which is the Montana State record. Gets over that. The videos are on Twitter, by the way, and they're online as well, and you can always find them msubobcats.com. But then she puts it at 1.88 meters. That's 6'2" for those that don't know metrics. 6'2" is ridiculous for a female high jumper, and she soared over that one as well. So Lucy Corbett, a Bozeman product and a Montana State University senior, is now second in the United States of America in the high jump. Only Lamara Diston of Texas A&M has a better jump this year than Lucy Corbett. Corbett's height of 6'2" also ties the Big Sky record held by Amber Welty, who set that mark at Idaho State way back in 1988. So 33 years ago, that record has stood. So very impressive by Lucy Corbett. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, as well as SWX Montana Television. Riley Corcoran, voice of the Grizz, coming up in about 15 minutes, plus your chance to win a $25 gift card to Tagliari Delicatessen as part of Tagliari Tuesday, presented by the guys down there at Tagliari Deli. Appreciate them being a part of this show. Love having those guys on board. I know you guys out there, all you loyal listeners, love I know you love Nuanez Now, just in general. I mean, how could you not? We bring the love for you every single day. Hope you had a great Valentine's Day, by the way, if you did anything. And speaking of, Tagliari threw down an awesome little addition to our Valentine's Day prize pack as well. That was a good prize. That was one I definitely wanted to win. $50 gift card from Dazzlers, little pair of tickets to Snowball, some fancy wine from Warden's, and a little Tagliari gift card. Man, that's money in the bank. But we got another tag gift card for you coming up as well, so stay tuned for that. Let's dive into some Big Sky Hoops action. Just a reminder, the Big Sky Tournament in Boise coming up March 7th through the 11th. We will be covering the tournament stem to stern, working on a handful of feature stories for the Big Sky Conference for SkylineSportsMT.com. And we'll also have Nuanez Now from courtside of the Big Sky Tournament for the duration of that tournament that second week of March. Well, how about you? Do you want to go? We have partnered with the Big Sky at Skyline Sports, and we have a pair of passes for the week to the Big Sky Tournament in Boise. All you have to do is either tweet at us or text us, Big Sky in Boise, or just anything about the Big Sky Tournament. But Big Sky in Boise is the easiest way to do it. At 1029 ESPN on Twitter or at Skyline Sports MT. You can also go at Coulter_Nuanez or at Krista Redpath, or you can text us here at ESPN Radio 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029. Text us, Big Sky in Boise. Tweet at us, Big Sky in Boise. That'll get you entered in for your opportunity to win a pair of passes to the Big Sky Tournament in Boise. All these postponements and delays and all this other crazy stuff, it's made it so that Monday is as busy, if not more busy, of a day of Big Sky Hoops, which means that these Tuesday shows have become very much like Monday's shows used to be, where we're recapping all the Big Sky Conference hoops action, and really weird getting in the rhythm of having games on Monday. But there was one men's game last night and 3 women's games last night. So we'll go over the men's game first. Northern Colorado is a little bit sneaky we've talked and proclaimed around here that we think that there's a cut and dry top four, but not so fast. Northern Colorado wants in that mix, and they got themselves squarely in that mix last night. UNC swept the Montana schools to begin the Big Sky Conference slate back the first conference weekend of December before teams then took a step back into the non-conference before coming back into conference play. I know it's confusing, but the Big Sky has its opening weekend of league play before then playing the rest of the month of December as non-conference and then getting back into conference competition over the new year. But Northern Colorado got off to a good start, and then they were sort of up and down. Well, last night, they were down 17 at home to Southern Utah with 5 minutes to play. They won. How? I was down at the Grizz coaches show today for lunch, having some lunch down there at Finn. I was recording with Riley Corcoran, who you'll hear from here in just about 15 minutes. And I was talking to some of the Grizz assistants, and Zach Payne, one of the assistants on Travis DeCure's staff, he said, it doesn't matter who you are, for a basketball game, for you to be up 17 with 5 minutes to go, and then you lose that game by multiple possessions, quite literally everything has to go wrong. So a lot went wrong for Southern Utah, but also a lot went right for Northern Colorado. And don't look now, but Northern Colorado's charging up. They are one of the hotter teams in the league right now, and they have a couple of the best players in the league. Bodie Hume is one of the most tried and true and veteran and most recognizable players in the Big Sky Conference. Dalen Kuntz, the transfer from Colorado, has really come on this season. He was pretty good last year. He's been great this year. He's one of the leading scorers in the conference. And here we are now with Northern Colorado, and they've won 4 in a row. They won at Northern Arizona and then beat NAU a couple days later in Greeley, won at Sac State, but the marquee win last night, 100-95 over Southern Utah, rallying from a 17-point deficit. This is crazy. There's been several Montana games this year involving the Grizzmen that have been in the 50s and 60s total. Last night, it was 60-56 in the second half. Southern Utah won the second half 60-56, yet still lost the game 100-95. So pretty amazing. But you have to wonder what this does for Southern Utah, and you also have to wonder what it does for Northern Colorado. They're now 9-4. Big Sky play at UNC is. Kuntz had 30 points last night, so he continues his tremendous season. Matt Johnson, he was 7 of 10 from the floor and a perfect 8 of 8 from the free throw line. He had 24 points. And they did this with Bodie Hume only scoring 17. So very strange that Bodie Hume's production is a little bit down. Excuse me, Bodie Hume played 17 minutes. He only had 8 points. So kind of strange that Bodie Hume's production has been a little bit inhibited, but there's a lot that goes into all of that. But that's a big win for Northern Colorado and potentially a big loss for Southern Utah. Southern Utah's got a gauntlet coming up. They, of course, lost last Monday at Montana to snap a 4-game winning streak. They bounced back with a huge 26-point win over Sac State, but then they blow the 17-point lead to Northern Colorado. And now they got Montana State coming to town on Saturday, the first-place Bobcats. And then they got Montana coming to town next Thursday. So a couple big ones coming up for Southern Utah. And so we'll see. We'll see if they can bounce back from that lead last night. Nuanez now ESPN Radio as well as SWX Montana Television. Coulter Nuanez coming to you from the Northwest Motorsports Studio. How about on the women's side? On the women's side, the Idaho-Portland State game was postponed. Of course it was. Portland State can't figure out a way to get on the court. Got a feel for the Vikings. They are still in search of their first Big Sky Conference women's basketball victory. And they've already played 8 games on Mondays, which is the makeup game, the makeup day for games. Already played 8, including 6 on the road on Monday. So Portland State, just unreal, the adversity they've had to go through from a scheduling perspective. And they had another one against Idaho postponed last night. Southern Utah, their women drilled Northern Colorado 77-53. So the T-Bird women stay really good at home and move to 11-4 in conference play to keep pace in the conference standings. They're chasing Idaho State and Montana State right now. But then the most eye-opening result of the night And one of the most eye-opening results of the season was Montana losing at Eastern Washington. The Lady Grizz, not good. 63-57. Another slow start offensively. They only scored 18 points in the first half, which was just, they got to be better. They got to be better out the gates. They scrapped their way back into it to get it to a 4-point game down the stretch, but they just could not get over the top. Sammy Fatkin, senior guard for the Lady Grizz, missed her third straight game. She rolled her ankle bad against Idaho State, and they actually came back into that game. It hasn't played since then. She missed at Northern Arizona this last Thursday. She didn't play at Southern Utah on Monday, didn't play Northern Arizona on Thursday, did not play against Eastern last night. And her absence is definitely detrimental to the Lady Grizz, to say the least. But also, this Lady Grizz team, they're so mercurial. They're so up and down. And you just have to wonder if it's just still a mental thing for the Lady Grizz, because I think that they have a lot of talent. I think they have really good players at Montana, especially their headlining veteran players. I mean, when you got multiple-year starter seniors like Sophia Stiles and Abby Anderson, and you also got one of the most talented players in the league in Carmen G-Feller, one of the best offensive players in the league, point blank, period, you cannot lose to Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington, that was only their fourth league victory. They are in a full rebuild. They cut ties with Wendy Schuler after 20 years last year. They had 9 players enter the transfer portal. So it's almost unbelievable that Montana could lose that game. But they definitely got to get some stuff together, because the allure and the illusion of a conference title, a regular season conference title, is not really in the picture anymore for the Montana women. I mean, maybe they rip off a bunch of wins down the stretch. They still have Southern Utah and Montana State, a couple teams ahead of them in the standings on the schedule. But more than anything, they got to get healthy and they got to get rolling by the time Boise rolls around. But that's been the whole thing with this program. Ever since Robin Selvig retired, their postseason has been non-existent. They've only won one postseason game, period, in the 5 Big Sky tournaments since Coach Selvig was gone. And so definitely a far cry from the proud tradition that was Lady Grizz basketball. So how do you get to the point where you're playing well at tournament time? If they can get to that point, they can definitely win a couple games in Boise. If they put it all together, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they won the tournament. But that's getting more elusive and becoming less likely as the season progresses. And maybe last night's a turning point. It has to be. If you were Brian Holsinger and his staff, you got to be better than that. You have to. You have to be better than going on the road and losing to an Eastern Washington team that has almost no firepower. I mean, it is definitely it was a shocking result. I honestly, because it was a Monday game and had some stuff going on, I didn't really even follow this game. And then when I saw the result on Twitter, I was shocked. And then when I read the post-game press conference quotes, I was even more shocked. Brian Holsinger, quote, in a release from the University of Montana, "It's soul-searching time for us," Holsinger said. "We're just not doing our jobs as coaches. It's my job to figure it out. I apologize to all of Grizz Nation for that performance. It's unacceptable. I'm looking for answers myself. These kids are experienced. It's on us as coaches. It's on me, actually. I'm failing them right now. I'm not doing my job. It's disappointing." He went on to acknowledge the poor start and then went on to answer a question about Montana was 9-2, if you remember right, coming into Christmas break. They're 5-6 since then. And Holsinger said, "We're not the same team we have been. Obviously, we miss Sammy Fatkin. It's killing us. She's out and not playing. We're not the same team without her, but we're also not playing right. We got tons of defensive mistakes. We're having mental breakdowns. We're not rebounding. We're not doing the things we did earlier in the season to win games." So the mentality of Lady Grizz continues to be an Achilles heel. Can they get it figured out before the Big Sky tournament in March? We'll see. Nuanez now, ESPN Radio. Riley Corcoran, the voice of the Grizz, will join us as our Grizz Star of the Week. Right after this, keep it right here. It's ESPN Radio. Hey, it's Colter Nuanez from Nuanez Now, here with Brent Wahlberg of the Wahlberg team at Windermere Real Estate. It's a complicated real estate market right now. What do you think is the biggest challenge?
This is a real tough market for buyers because what we have right now is an unprecedented lack of available options, low supply. You have to be extra competitive. You've got to make your first offer your strongest offer. Experts like myself in this market can really help people do that.
Call Brent Wahlberg and the Wahlberg team at 529-4663 today.
Are you letting pain, stiffness, balance problems, or headaches keep you from what you love doing? Are you suffering from a sports injury, work-related injury? Were you in a car accident? Or are you just down and out? Then call Peak Performance Physical Therapy right away for your free injury consultation. That's right, free injury consultation. We want you to have a better understanding of your injury. We will give you guidance as to whether physical therapy will help. Peak Performance Physical Therapy is committed to getting you back to your peak performance in record time. Physical therapy will help speed up your recovery process, empower you to treat the cause of your pain, and get you back to what you love doing. This is Jill Olson, owner of Peak Performance Physical Therapy. We are located by Southgate Mall. Call for an appointment today. Don't detain your healing any longer. Call 542-0808. That's 542-0808.
Ready to step up your hair game, but just not quite sure where to go? Well, look no further than Compass Barbershop, a modern barbershop for everyone, where they can help you find a style that's right for you. They offer precision scissor cuts and fades in a unique and inclusive atmosphere. Compass Barbershop has it all, including convenient online booking at compassbarber.com, or you can just stop by any day of the week. You can also check out Compass Barbershop on Facebook or Instagram. Find your way to Compass Barbershop, downtown on the Hip Strip, at the corner of modern and retro.
There is still plenty of winter left to enjoy, and Bob Ward's has the gear to help you make the most of it. Right now, you can get screaming deals during Bob Ward's midwinter clearance sale. Find great deals on winter season gear store-wide. Outfit the family for a day on the snow without hurting your wallet at Bob Ward's. Get a new ski package for less. Find outerwear at super low prices, and take a hike with the best prices on winter boots. Bob Ward's midwinter clearance sale is on now. Bob Ward's, sports and outdoors, Montana style since 1917.
Bad Hybrid, Crockumentary Films.
Who wants to watch a crock pot in action?
Good Hybrid, the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival back in Missoula theaters and online. This year you can attend live screenings at the Wilma, Roxy, and Zach, or watch in the comfort of your own home. Seating is currently limited, so if there's a film you want to see in person, go to BigSkyFilmFest.org to purchase a ticket. And if you're a pass holder, make sure to reserve your seat in advance. The Big Sky Documentary Film Festival begins February 18th. We hope to see you there in real life or virtual life.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
From the Big Sky to the Big Time, Cooper Kupp had one of the most successful weekends of anybody to ever come out of the Big Sky Conference on Super Sunday. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. Kupp, a former four-time first-team All-American wide receiver at Eastern Washington, once spent his time tearing up the Grizz, the Bobcats, and the rest of the Big Sky. And on Sunday, Kupp capped arguably the greatest single season by a wide receiver in the history of professional football. The 6'2", 208-pounder from Yakima caught 8 passes for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns on the way to earning Super Bowl MVP honors. Kupp caught 4 passes, including the go-ahead touchdown with less than a minute to play to help lift the Los Angeles Rams to a 23-20 win over the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 56. Kupp's final totals for the season include astounding numbers. 21 games, including the playoffs. Kupp notched 178 catches, 2,425 yards, and 22 touchdowns, winning the regular season receiving Triple Crown and earning unanimous first-team All-Pro honors. He caught an NFL postseason record 33 balls during the playoffs, was the NFL Offensive Player of the Year, and capped his 5th season in the league with Super Bowl MVP honors. And finally, in Big Sky women's hoops action, the Lady Grizz fell 63-57 at Eastern Washington on Monday in a makeup game from earlier this season. EWU led for the duration of the game in Cheney on the way to its 4th Big Sky win this season. The loss drops the Lady Grizz to 7-6 in league play.
This 102.9 ESPN Missoula Sports Center is brought to you by Aspen Sound.
little OG bumper music for you here on Nuanez Now. Welcome back. It's ESPN Radio. Maybe you're watching in SWX Montana Television. I'm Colter Nuanez coming to you from the Northwest Motorsport Studio. Appreciate you spending some time here on a Tuesday with us. It's a Taglieri Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. Actually, let's do it right now. We got a $25 gift card to Taglieri Delicatessen here in Missoula. Best sandwiches you're going to find anywhere in the Garden City. And every Tuesday, we're giving you the opportunity to win said sandwiches. All you have to do is give us a call. Actually, let's do this. Let's text to win. 406-888-1029. You want a $25 gift card to Taglieri Delicatessen? Text us right now. Texter number 3, 888-1029. That's 888-1029. Texter number 3, we got a $25 gift card for you to Taglieri Delicatessen. All you got to say is, give me that sandwiches. Or, whatever you want. Just tell us that you are listening to us here at ESPN Radio, 888-1029. Also, if you're into wine, which I've been getting really into wine, it's been very fun. There's so much history and culture and mystique, should I say, to wine. And just the way that wine has impacted the world and sort of the ancient craft of wine. They have great wine down there at Taglieri as well. A lot of old world wine, which is very cool. I've very much been enjoying myself some Italian and Spanish wines that I've been picking up down there at Taglieri. So if you're into wine, go check out Taglieri's wine selection as well. Usually, our Grizz Star of the Week, we feature men's or women's basketball players from the University of Montana. I had initially planned on having a Lady Grizz on the show this week for our Grizz Star of the Week, presented by Bob Ward's Sports and Outdoors. But because Montana played in Cheney last night, they didn't get home until about 2 in the morning. Lady Grizz did not. And they had a bad loss, and so the practice schedule sort of got reallotted. I know that they redid their schedule. And Brian Holsinger had his coaches show today at noon. So it's kind of all jammed up. So instead of doing a men's or women's player, I decided to have Riley Corcoran featured as our Grizz Star of the Week, which is great. Riley is always a great contributor here. Voice of the Grizz, as most of you know. So appreciate him pinch hitting here for our Grizz Star of the Week. Usually if you hear this 5:30 on Wednesdays, but we got it for you here on a Tuesday. Grizz Star of the Week presented by Bob Ward's Sports and Outdoors. Gear up with Bob Ward's. With plenty of winter left to enjoy, now is the time to gear up for less. Winter clearance is on now. Whether you need new skis, a snowboard, or just long underwear, gloves, or a new coat to combat the cold, get geared up now. Bob Ward's Sports and Outdoors, a Montana tradition since 1917, open 7 days a week on Paxton Street in Missoula, or you can visit bobwards.com. Sitting down here at Finn with my good friend, voice of the Grizz, Riley Corcoran, here on Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, as well as SWX Montana Television. Recording this on a Tuesday. You're listening to it on a Tuesday as well. Riley's getting prepped up for his coach's show here at Finn. Interviewing both Travis DeCure of the University of Montana men's basketball team, as well as Brian Holsinger, the head coach for the Lady Grizz. And this is our Grizz Star of the Week. We had usually highlight players, but this week, because of a variety of different things, from travel schedules to the fact that the women just got back last night from Cheney, to the fact that we've already done 6 Grizz Star of the Weeks with men's players. We're kind of running out of guys. There's only 7.5 guys in Travis DeCure's rotation. So happy to have Riley here. And Riley, I guess we'll start with the most shocking news of the day in terms of the University of Montana. The Lady Grizz went on the road last night. By the way, crazy stat, their 4th Monday road game of the last 6 weeks. That's crazy. They don't have the most Monday games. Portland State's played 8 Monday games. Portland State's played 6 of their 8 Monday games on the road, but Montana's second in terms of Monday road games. With the Lady Grizz, they lost 63-57 to Eastern Washington last night, and you can dissect it and analyze it all you want. It's a bad loss for the Lady Grizz, period, because Eastern Washington returned nobody from last year, including not their head coach, who was the longest tenured head coach in the league, and Wendy Schuler. So, I think that everybody was just shocked by the fact that Lady Grizz drafted one in Cheney last night.
Yeah, you and me both, Coulter, and I'm honored to be the star of the week. I appreciate that. I am in Coach DeCure's rotation, by the way, so you can put 8.5 down. But I watched that whole Lady Grizz game last night, Valentine's Day plans around it and whatnot. It was shocking, and I think this team, ever since Christmas, has just been so unpredictable, right? With the performances in and out, they go on the road and beat Southern Utah, heartbreaker to NAU. You feel, okay, they've got momentum. They actually had more days to rest. And whether it's the schedule they got to them or just the inconsistencies, it caught up with them. It was another slow start. We're kind of seeing these same themes from this squad, but they just have so much to try and overcome, I think, when it comes late in the season. And maybe that's that you just said. Maybe that is wearing on them. And Coach Holsinger said it in the postgame last night. Maybe that's an excuse. Maybe it's not a real valid one. But just the inconsistency of the schedule, not getting practice time, there's no bones about it. They didn't look very good last night. Coach Holsinger tried to mix it up and change the starting lineup for the second half, which I thought was really interesting, and that button didn't work either. So we'll see. It's kind of soul-searching time. It's the dog days, and it's very interesting because this is someone from me and you that have known the league for a while. I think the fact now that the neutral site tournament, it kind of kicks in to teams that don't have a chance to win the regular season title. But it's more of, okay, let's just try and get right going into Boise. And I know that's something that me and you are going to talk about in the next couple of weeks. But it's just really interesting to see where they're at. They need a mental day right now. We'll see if they can regroup for another 3-game and 5-day stretch. And also, another Monday road game next week at Idaho.
The importance of specific players in the scope of a team are often on full display when that player is limited and or out. And I think the Lady Grizz have 4 of the most talented players in the league, 4 headlining type players that are, all conference caliber types if they play at their best. And for as good of a scorer Carmen Gfeller is, and as good of a two-way player that Abby Anderson is, and as long of a career of success that Sophia Stiles has had, Sammy Fackett is Montana's most important player. And she's been out. She rolled her ankle really bad against Idaho State. She actually came back in that game and then hasn't been in the lineup since then. To be frank, they have no offensive flow without her. She is the straw that stirs the drink for Lady Grizz. They're really missing her.
They are, and that's obviously another factor that pours into it, and hopefully they can get her back. And I think that also goes to show you kind of what we just talked about, getting ready for Boise. It's more of, sure, if you're in a conference title race, they might push her to play last night. Instead, it's okay, let's make sure she's healthy. But you're right, they take her out, the offensive flow's not there, and then they start searching for answers, I think. And when Carmen Gfeller isn't on par, or let's just say foul trouble, which has been another issue for the Lady Grizz in the first half, they just seem to be one piece short, I think, to making all of it work. And how much of this do you think maybe is lack of confidence that they can get it done? Because I think that we start seeing that because the talent is there, and that might be the most frustrating aspect sometimes with the Lady Grizz, but how much do you see maybe of that aspect?
Well, this is the biggest question for the Montana women's basketball program, and it has been when Shannon Schwein was the head coach and Mike Petrino was the head coach, and now that Brian Holsinger is the head coach. How do you manage, mitigate, and not let the shadow of Robin Selvig overwhelm you? Everything that the Lady Grizz do is gauged through the lens of 21 Big Sky titles in 38 years, 865 victories. Unbeatable at home, on and on. We could talk about Coach Selvig for hours because of all that he accomplished. And at one point, though, does that just crush you because of the expectation that was set before you? At some point, you're far enough removed from that it's maybe not fair to have that evaluation. Yet, as we always say here on Nuanez Now, we hold the University of Montana to high standards, particularly when it comes to women's and men's basketball and football, because those are the standards that need to continue to exist. Those are the standards that were established over years and years, if not decades, of dominance and success. And then you look at the resources and the tradition and all that stuff. There is huge advantages for the Montana women's basketball team as well. But then you look, it's a dichotomy, right? You're analyzing the broad scope of the dynamic compared to the specific scope of this team. This team has speed bumps they need to figure out how to get over. I think that the fact of the matter is they need to realize how good they are. That's the whole thing, is they have some of the best players in the league. I want to see Abby Anderson go 25-15 one night because she totally has the ability to do that. I want to see Carmen Gfeller drop 30 because she totally has the ability to do that.
And I think it was striking to me last night watching the Eastern Washington broadcast on ESPN Plus, because it really it's kind of a gut punch because they put in reality. This is a storied program that has lost their way. And at first I'm thinking, boy, that's a bold statement. But in reality, it kind of is from the outside of they're trying to find that form again. And I think the mental hurdles, Coulter, of trying to get back to those expectations, let's keep it realistic for this team, too. They had a really good non-conference. That maybe elevated the expectations in year one to an unfair point. And I think everybody in that locker room felt that absolutely they could contend for a Big Sky title. But it's time to take a step back and go, okay, what's realistic for steps to get this thing back? I know it may be an unfair comparison, but I will compare this to when Bobby Houck came back to kind of rebuild this thing in a year or two, where I think more than anything, the physical talent's there. It's mental confidence, I think, in mental toughness for this team to grind through and just have that belief that we are the best in team over one individual, too, where, I mean, you're seeing players press individuals. I still think the talent's there. They have a nice stretch in the schedule where they can build some confidence. But as you just said, they have to believe it.
Grizz Star of the Week, Riley Corcoran, voice of the Grizz, joining us here on Nuanez, now ESPN Radio, as well as SWX Montana Television. And that dichotomy is on full display in what we're doing right now. There's no other women's basketball program in the state, in the region, in the conference that have this much scrutiny. I mean, and that's the best part about the Lady Grizz. They can use all of this stuff in recruiting because you do get such huge exposure, but how do you handle it? So that's what I'm going to say for the rest of this regular season and into the Big Sky tournament. The expectation for the Lady Grizz, to me, has literally nothing to do with where they finish in the standings. They have to go win a game or two in the postseason tournament. That's been the thing that's eluded them since it moved to a neutral site. They have not been any sort of successful since the league tournament moved to a neutral site. And so, to me, my expectation for Montana is figure out a way to be playing better when the tournament rolls around and go and make sure you're playing late in the week, not early in the week. You can't go one and done. That's it, and that's all for this team.
I think semifinals, right? If they make the semifinals, they're playing Wednesday night. You cover this league better than anybody. You've seen the women. They are a top 4 team from a talent perspective. Now, can they put it together? And I think whether they're going to be, it seems they're in that mix of 4, 5, 6 seed. Whether they're the 6th seed and have to play on the opening day, they still can absolutely get to the semifinals. That needs to be the expectation. That needs to be the groundwork for where this team kind of moves forward because they got the talent to do it.
Let's talk about the men's league. What a wild, let's call it 10 days. Montana loses at Idaho State. Nobody saw that one coming. But then the Grizz bounced back. They beat Southern Utah. That was a very good win and maybe one of the games on the calendar that you thought was going to be one of the bigger hurdles for the Grizz. Grizz did lose in overtime to Northern Arizona. But then they bounced back again with a great win over Portland State on Saturday. Meanwhile, Montana State needs everything and then a bag of chips to emerge with 2 wins over Portland State and Northern Arizona. They needed a couple wild shots by Raekwon Battle down the stretch to emerge. But then across the league, it's going crazy all over the place. Weber goes and gets their butts whipped at Idaho. How did that happen? They've lost 3 in a row. But then you turn around and watch Southern Utah blow a 15-point lead last night in the last 5 minutes of the game and give up a hundy to Northern Colorado, 100-95. Northern Colorado rallies all the way back. I mean, the Big Sky Conference on the men's side's drunk right now.
It is I love that term. It is going to be a wild conference tournament. It is. Let's just sit here and say no matter what, it is not going to go chalk in Boise. It's just not with the way that this league's going. I said it on the air on Saturday night when the Grizz were playing Portland State. 8 teams, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, are going to go to Boise feeling they can beat anybody because NAU just went on the road and beat Montana and should have beaten Montana State. Well, maybe shouldn't have beaten, but competed right with Montana State.
Let's pause on NAU just for a quick moment, though, because NAU is really interesting to me. Because Idaho, they have veteran guys, and they can score the ball. It's kind of eluding them. Idaho State is really athletic. They're just so mercurial. NAU is simply young. I think they're one of the scariest teams in the league. They have a couple really good young players. I thought Carson Tout and Jalen Cohn were absolutely as advertised when I saw him in Missoula and Bozeman this last weekend.
Carson Tout, a freshman, Jalen Cohn, a sophomore, Nick Maines, a junior. Coulter, they're one of 8 teams in the entire country that does not have a senior. That's the 2nd straight year for Shane Burkar. You can feel, when we talk about rebuild, we just talked about that 5 minutes ago with the Lady Grizz, but Northern Arizona, they are laying the foundation right now. They are an absolutely scary team. They're that classic noon game on Thursday. They're the 8th seed. They're taking on whoever wins, the number 1 seed. That is not a pushover game whatsoever. I was very impressed with Northern Arizona, and really in the 23 days that I saw them down in Flagstaff to now, they're a team that's got exponentially better. We'll see how they go and kind of propel from this last weekend. Big Sky Conference is wild right now, and the Cats deservedly are the top team, and they deserve it from the 11-game win streak, but I'm really intrigued. Their next 3 games, at Eastern, at Southern Utah, and at Montana. How do they go during that stretch? If they can go 2-1 in those 3 games, They deserve to be the top dog. But with that being said, the top 5 in the league, it's all so close, and you're going to make a case for anybody. We said this, I think, a month ago on your show. Who's ever hotter going into the conference tournament is going to be the favorite. With that being said, it's crazy to think, and I don't like saying this for someone that calls every game and every game has its story. Nothing really matters until the final maybe week or two to see who has the most momentum, who's playing the best. Southern Utah, how did they respond? A 15-point lead, give up 100 and lose, that could be demoralizing for a team with 9 seniors. We all know how that dichotomy goes by the end of the year. So I'm intrigued by so many different storylines here. It's all going to depend on matchups. And again, I'll reiterate my point. Boise is going to be wild this year on the men's side.
Grizz Star of the Week presented by Bob Ward's Sports and Outdoors. Need any outdoor gear, any stuff for your skiing, cross-country skiing, hiking, whatever. Maybe you're ice fishing. Bob Ward's Sports and Outdoors, locally owned and operated in Missoula for more than 60 years. Go check them out. They have a great inventory and great prices. Also a great sales team that can help you with any and all of your needs. The other thing is the Big Sky Tournament is so much like the NBA playoffs, except for it's a single-game scenario in which you need to have premier players that can carry you down the stretch. You look at the top teams in the league. Montana State has Xavier Bishop and Amin Adamu, a pair of sixth-year senior guards that can carry the load. John Knight III and Tavion Jones at Southern Utah, Kobe McEwen at Weber State, Bodie Hume and Dalen Kuntz at Northern Colorado. Who is that for Montana? That's the question when we talk about the Grizz. The Grizz are going to be able to play good enough defense to be in every postseason game that they play. They also have among, if not the best, postseason coaches in the league in Travis DeCuire. Who's the guy that can carry them down the stretch? I know who they want it to be. Can those guys get there? Because I do think that Josh Bannon, Robbie Beasley, they have the ability to get there. Can they hone it in?
I think Josh Bannon is going to be your consistent force. I just think that he is going to be a guy that you can count on 15 to 20 and get 8 to 10 rebounds. But they have proven, Coulter, they need somebody else to erupt. And I think that guy's Robbie Beasley. Robbie's the guy that can make 3 or 4 3-pointers in a hurry. Exactly what you saw Saturday night when the Grizz were wondering who was going to show up. He makes his first 3 threes and they get up to a 17-4 lead. They obviously needed that to carry out to the victory. I think it's Robbie Beasley. Brandon Whitney has been much more aggressive on the offensive end. They've proven this. The minutes show it, the production, the points, everything. They are going to lean on those 3 sophomores. I think Lonell Martin is obviously an X factor when his 3-point shot is falling, but to say Bannon is someone that can go off for 25 to 30, I think is a little unfair. I think it's the Robbie Beasley, Brandon Whitney effect, and more specifically, it's Robbie Beasley's outside shot. If that thing's going down, Montana's a different team offensively. That makes their defense play more freely and lock in how they need to be.
And this is the analysis and the scrutiny that the Grizz receive as well, because we were talking about this on the show the other day. On one hand, it is the premier program in the league, and so they deserve to have high expectations. Ironically, though, if the Grizz would have stumbled out the gates, they wouldn't have as high of expectations. A 9-2 start in league play made their expectations change in a positive way, but then how do you handle that? And the other thing I think that we forget is all these guys at Montana State have been in school since like last decade. You got players in this league been in school so long that they played in Reno. I mean, Bodie Hume played in Reno. I'm going to write a feature for the Big Sky about the players in the league that were still in the league back when this tournament was in Reno and then in Boise. It's been in Boise. This will be a 5th year in Boise. So anybody that's been in the league since Reno, been in the league for a long time. And so then maybe we needed to give Montana a little more grace because they are riding 3 sophomores.
It comes off as an excuse. Maybe when you listen to it from other, they're young, and nobody wants to hear that. But the reality is just that. I mean, you compare them to the rest of the league, just go by straight age. Montana State has 23 and 24-year-old 6th-year seniors that have been through the fire before. Weber State, they use the transfer portal to get older. Northern Colorado has 6 seniors in their rotation. Southern Utah is the 4th oldest team in the country with 9 seniors. It's just a fact of the matter. Montana is a young team, a young core. Those expectations, much like the Lady Grizz. Lady Grizz had it in non-conference, but the men started off so hot that it's like, okay, maybe they're a year early, because let's call it what it is. Look at this roster. They're built for the next 2 years. I think that if we hit fast forward right now, not knowing the transfer portal, which is the ultimate X factor, you would say that Montana's probably the preseason favorite next year if they keep everybody intact. Well, with that being said, they're kind of a year ahead of schedule. Can they still make some noise? Absolutely. Can, with Travis DeCuire, this coaching staff, and with that solid defense, can they win 3 games in 3 days? Absolutely. But I still think that maybe a year ahead of schedule, we'll see. I'm very very intrigued to see. I've stopped predicting what I think is going to happen with men's basketball after these last 4 games. How do you explain losing to NAU and Idaho State but beating Southern Utah and Portland State? So when this team is on point, they absolutely can beat anyone. But when they're not playing well, it can look downright ugly at times. So it'll be really interesting to see how they move forward. I think it's interesting for the Grizz. They have 1 game in 10 days while the rest of this league is having makeup games and beating each other up. We talk about the hottest team going into Boise. How about the freshest team going into Boise? And that could very well be Montana.
Montana moved to 10-5 in conference play, 17-9 overall with that win over Portland State. So they're honing in, got it in their sights, another 20-win season at Montana. They're at Idaho Thursday, at Southern Utah the following Thursday. So got the weekend off here for the men Grizz. Riley, last thing for you, and Riley will be back with us on Thursday as well to give you a little preview of that Idaho game. But last thing for you here, James Harden for Ben Simmons. Does it move the needle for you?
It moves the needle in the playoffs when I care.
Sure.
I won't watch the NBA until after the Masters is over. That's kind of my time when I lock in, because that's about the time everyone else locks in, it seems. It does move the needle. I mean, come on. Superstars being traded. I think I'm with everybody else. As a casual NBA fan and watcher, they better be matching up in the playoffs, because that's where your real drama will be. I would love to see that in about the 2-3 matchup, something like that. It moves the needle a little bit, but still not enough to watch before the Masters, Coulter.
Grizz Star of the Week, Riley Corcoran, voice of the Grizz, joining us here on Nuanez now. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Grizz Star of the Week, presented by Bob Ward's Sports and Outdoors. With plenty of winter left to enjoy, now's the time to gear up. Winter clearance is on now at Bob Ward's Sports and Outdoors, a Montana tradition of adventure since 1917. How about some of the best performances individually in the state of Montana by Montanans, or otherwise maybe some non-Montanans competing in sports in Montana, our Treasure State Stars. Up next, keep it right here, ESPN Radio.
Oh, I love family road trips. The wind in my ears.
Good dog.
Treats in my mouth. And peace of mind, knowing we went to Les Schwab for our tires, brakes, and alignment. If we had gone to one of those cheap tire stores that don't offer those services, I'd be a doggone wreck. Like Les Schwab, my family's safety is my first priority. Well, that and treats, obviously.
Swing by or book online. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Attention high school seniors and your parents, scholarship applications are available now at farmersebank.com. 10 $10,000 scholarships will be awarded this year. That's $100,000 to Montana high school grads. Review the qualifications and fill out an application today at farmersebank.com. Hurry, the deadline is March 15th. Farmers State Bank, your Montana bank since 1907. Member FDIC.
The next time you break a bone, come directly to Missoula Bone and Joint Orthopedic Urgent Care on Mullen Road. Our experienced orthopedic providers are available for walk-ins Monday through Thursday until 7 p.m., Fridays until 5, and Saturdays from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. X-ray, casting, and bracing is available at your visit, and your provider can show you the x-rays and explain your treatment options. Missoula Bone and Joint. Quality care from people who care.
Jake Dubeck knows people, and because of his gift of getting to know anyone he crosses paths with, Jake Dubeck understands what makes Montana so great. The Montanans. Whether you're looking to buy or sell real estate in the Helena area, Jake Dubeck should be your first call. Any questions you might have, from the accelerating Montana real estate market to knowledge of the neighborhoods in and around the capital city, if you're in the Helena area, call Jake Dubeck at 406-465-5506. Jake, proud supporter of the Montana State Minute with Danny Sprinkle.
You hear the term small business all the time, but what does it mean? The answer is, it depends. Whether you're a one-woman show or employ over 100 people, at Farmers State Bank, your business is never small to us. Find the tools for success at any Farmers State Bank location or check us out online at farmersebank.com. Farmers State Bank, helping businesses succeed since 1907. Member FDIC.
Now, the Montana Club's happy hour features BOGO beverages. Our expertly mixed cocktails, microbrews, domestics, and wine are buy one, get one free 7 days a week from 3 to 5:30. Stop in on Friday for Montini night. Sip on a top shelf martini for only $6, 5:30 to close. When you've worked hard all day and are ready to relax, the Montana Club has got you covered with BOGO happy hour 7 days a week, 3 to 5:30 on Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
I think this was what the kids call the OG music. We got the old school bumper music, the Tutel Nuanez bumper music. Fitting, because my great friend Austin Tutel, the younger and more handsome of the Tutel brothers, on his way to the studio right now, talk some NBA with us in hour number 2. And how about this? Gus is back. The return of Ryan Tutel. 70,000 miles on the road and a 90-day stint in South Africa later. The former co-host of this show, he'll be in studio tomorrow to help us celebrate our 10th anniversary. This isn't Tutel Nuanez until, about 5 minutes from now. Every weekday, though, here on ESPN Radio, it's Nuanez Now. Welcome back in. I'm Coulter Nuanez, coming to you from the Northwest Motorsports Studio. Appreciate you being here on a Tuesday. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. Let's dive into one of my favorite segments, the Treasure State Stars, presented by Parkside Credit Union. Parkside Credit Union, a great place to get a loan throughout Western Montana because Parkside Credit Union loves to say yes. We highlight some of the best individual performances from around the state of Montana each Tuesday here on Nuanez Now as part of our Treasure State Stars. So let's get into it. Treasure State Star number 1, Xavier Bishop. He's a senior point guard for the Montana State Bobcats, and he is having a phenomenal senior season, and he put a cherry on top of it with his outstanding play down the stretch against Northern Arizona on Saturday in Bozeman. Bishop scored 23 points. He also corralled 6 rebounds, which, have you ever seen this guy? He's listed at 5'8". He's probably more like 5'6". He's one of the most fearless and explosive players in the league. Pretty amazing that a guy that small is averaging about 4 rebounds a game. 6 rebounds is good total, though. And he also had 4 assists. But his bucket with 6 seconds left lifted Montana State to a 72-70 victory over Northern Arizona. That is 16 out of 17 for Danny Sprinkle's squad there at MSU, and they've also won 11 in a row. So the Bobcats keep rolling, and the strong play of their senior point guard, Xavier Bishop, certainly a catalyst so far for MSU as they are searching for their first Big Sky title since 2002 and their first NCAA tournament appearance since Danny Sprinkle was a freshman in college way back in 1996. So a great start to the season thus far for MSU. I guess it's not even a start anymore. They played 25 games, so they're rolling. Number 17 in the mid-major poll this week. Danny Sprinkle will join us on Thursday, so look forward to that. Treasure State star number 2, Robbie Beasley. He's a sophomore for the Montana Grizz men's basketball team. And on Saturday, Beasley had his best shooting game as a Grizzly. He knocked down 6 3-pointers and 8 attempts on his way to 24 points. He also had 5 rebounds and 5 assists in 39 minutes of play. And that helped Montana to an 85-76 win over Portland State, a much-needed victory for the Grizzlies after they fell in overtime to Northern Arizona on Thursday. And Beasley, he had a double in high school in the Bay Area. That was a career high for him, the 24 points was. But he's having a great year so far, particularly when it comes to in-conference play. He had 19 against Weber and Eastern. He had another 18 against Portland State the first time around, 19 against Northern Arizona on Thursday, and then 24 points, a season-end career high for Robbie Beasley on Saturday against Portland State. Treasure State star number 3. This doesn't have anything to do with sports except for it has to do everything with sports, the environment of sports. The Hellgate Marching Band. Yeah, baby. Gotta love it. The Knights were rocking the house at Dahlberg Arena on Friday night. It was the battle for the Golden Goat. This guy's got snowboard boots in his hand. You got to love it. Austin Tutel walking in the studio. We'll have some NBA for you once we actually turn the page into hour number 2. But Austin's a great band aficionado as well. And Hellgate has had one of the great bands in the state forever. In the region, honestly. John Combs, a legend in the music world. And now Leon Slater, formerly of Big Sky, who was my band teacher when I was at Big Sky. He's now rocking it at Hellgate. And they had the place rocking at Dahlberg Arena on Friday night. Very fun. And it just adds to the ambiance so much. I kept making jokes on Twitter, but I'm dead serious. I think the Grizz should rent the Hellgate band for their basketball games, because Hellgate had that place completely juiced, and it was very fun to watch. So shout out to the Hellgate band that really made the rivalry game, the crosstown rivalry between Hellgate and Sentinel, that much more fun on Friday night at Dahlberg Arena. Treasure State star number 4, Travis DeCuire. He's the head coach of the University of Montana men's basketball team. He won for the 160th time at Montana on Saturday. That moves him past Wayne Tinkle and into second place all-time at the University of Montana in coaching victories. So congratulations to Coach DeCuire. Very cool for him. Treasure State star number 5, Connor Sullivan and Noah Dowler, both from the Kalispell Glacier boys basketball team. They handed Helena Capital their first loss of the season last night. Capital's number 1 team in the state, but Glacier drilled them 48-34. Must be said that Braden Cook, who's one of the best players in Class AA, did not play last night. But still, nonetheless, a great win by Kalispell Glacier behind 17 points from Connor Sullivan and 12 points for Noah Dowler. And then our last Treasure State star for the week, each and every one of you out there in the state of Montana that attended the all-class wrestling tournament over the weekend. Back at the Metra for the first time in a couple years, the first time there's been an all-class wrestling tournament that also included high school girls wrestling. And this is amazing. More than 15,000 spectators descended upon the Billings Metra over the 3 days of the tournament. Thursday, well attended, more than 2,000 spectators in attendance. And then that place was packed to the gills on Friday and Saturday. 6,343 fans in the Metra on Friday and 6,711 in the stands on Saturday. So cool. Those attendance figures provided by the Montana High School Association. And good to have the all-class wrestling tournament back in the state of Montana. We'll have some follow-up on individual and team champions later on in the week. Hour number 1 in the books, hour 2 coming at you. I'm ready. I'm ready to dive in the NBA. The guy sitting with me, Austin Tutel, he's as excited about the NBA as anybody I have ever known. He'll tell me all the reasons why and all the storylines we can all follow together. Keep it right here. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. Part of the glory of building a business comes from leaving a legacy to ensure your business continues thriving into the future. Have you asked yourself lately, what is your plan? Forming a personalized business succession plan is essential to know the passion you put into your business will carry on. Nick Tabor at Westpac Wealth is here to help you navigate all your business succession and retirement planning needs. Give Nick a call at 728-6699 and keep the spirit of possibility vibrant while making your future more tax efficient with a personalized business succession and retirement plan for you.
The world of real estate is always evolving. That's more true now than ever. If you are a longtime Missoulian that is looking to upgrade or downsize, it might be the best time yet to sell. If you're in the position to buy something new, today might be the best time to buy. And no matter what questions you have when it comes to residential or commercial real estate, Mike Nugent and the professionals at Berkshire Hathaway in Missoula have your answers. To find out what Mike can do for you, give him a call today, 531-1802. And remember, every question is good to ask.
This is Colter Nuanez from ESPN Missoula, here to introduce the third rendition of our Grizz Greats podcast series. Over the last few years, ESPN Missoula has presented long-form podcast series with historic interviews from Grizz Greats, the coaching tree, chronicling Judd Heathcote's awesome lineage for the University of Montana men's basketball program, to Grizz Greats, the silver anniversary of the 1995 national champion Grizzlies. This fall, ESPN Missoula is proud to present Grizz Greats, the 20th anniversary of the 2001 national champion Grizzlies. It's been 20 years since Montana last captured a Division I football title, and many men who contributed to that epic run back in 2001 remain memorable figures in the history of the Grizz football program. Please join me, Colter Nuanez, for a 20-part podcast series chronicling the 20th anniversary of Montana's 2001 national championship. Grizz Greats, the 20th anniversary, is proudly presented by Blackfoot Communications and First Security Bank of Missoula. The things we ask you to do to win prizes has certainly changed. But one of the most consistent and desirable prizes here on Nuanez Now has never changed. Every Wednesday, you can tune in for your chance to win a dozen wings from the Desperado Sports Tavern and Grill. Desperado offers the best wings in the city of Missoula. Be sure to tune in every Wednesday during the 4 o'clock hour to 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Nuanez Now for your chance to win a dozen wings from the Desperado Sports Tavern and Grill. The Desperado Sports Tavern and Grill proudly presents Wing It Wednesday on ESPN Radio.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
From the Big Sky to the Big Time, Cooper Kupp had one of the most successful weekends of anybody to ever come out of the Big Sky Conference on Super Sunday. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. Kupp, a former 4-time first-team All-American wide receiver at Eastern Washington, once spent his time tearing up the Grizz, the Bobcats, and the rest of the Big Sky. And on Sunday, Kupp capped arguably the greatest single season by a wide receiver in the history of professional football. The 6'2", 208-pounder from Yakima caught 8 passes for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns on the way to earning Super Bowl MVP honors. Kupp caught 4 passes, including the go-ahead touchdown with less than a minute to play to help lift the Los Angeles Rams to a 23-20 win over the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 56. Kupp's final totals for the season include astounding numbers. 21 games, including the playoffs. Kupp notched 178 catches, 2,425 yards, and 22 touchdowns, winning the regular season receiving Triple Crown and earning unanimous first-team All-Pro honors. He caught an NFL postseason record 33 balls during the playoffs, was the NFL Offensive Player of the Year, and capped his 5th season in the league with Super Bowl MVP honors. And finally, in Big Sky women's hoops action, the Lady Grizz fell 63-57 at Eastern Washington on Monday in a makeup game from earlier this season. EWU led for the duration of the game in Cheney on the way to its 4th Big Sky win this season. The loss drops the Lady Grizz to 7-6 in league play.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is brought to you by Selway Armory.
What's up, Montana? Welcome back. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, as well as SWX Montana Television. Appreciate you rolling with us here on a Tuesday. Hope you're having a great start to your week. I'm Colter Nuanez, and I'm coming to you through the Northwest Motorsport Studio. You can find amazing winter savings at Northwest Motorsport. Visit nwmsrocks.com to check out the largest inventory of trucks anywhere in the Pacific Northwest. Get approved, line up a test drive, even an appraisal for your trade-in, all online at nwmsrocks.com. Missed anything in the first hour of the show? We talked about Maggie Voisin taking 5th in the women's slopestyle over in Beijing in the Winter Olympics. Also, Jake Sanderson of Whitefish competing for the U.S. hockey team. He had an assist against Canada. Also talked some Big Sky hoops. Heard from our good buddy Riley Corcoran, the voice of the Grizz, and shared our Treasure State stars for the week, highlighting some of the best individual performances from around the state of Montana. You can find all of that on the Nuanez Now podcast, which is proudly presented by Sportsbet Montana, as well as the Advocates. Austin Tutel, I'm doubling up the Tutels. Your brother is back. He's coming on tomorrow. I talked to him on the real life telephone today for the first time. Usually it's FaceTime. And anybody that knows me knows that 97% of the time I'm talking on the phone, I'm also driving. FaceTiming and driving, not great.
Right. There's a visual element you want to avoid there.
And FaceTiming your brother, horrible, because you have to look at his face.
And because he has several other people, human beings around
all the time,
running in and out as well.
The last 6 times we FaceTimed, he's had to hang up because a catastrophe happened with one of his mongrels.
Yeah. That'll happen.
Just wine getting spilled everywhere and all these things. Most of the time I call them, it's in the wee night hours of South Africa. But Ryan, former co-host of the show, is back. But Austin, my go-to guy whenever I want to rap about some NBA, is in studio with me. Before we get to the NBA, if you've been following along, I've been giving you some daily history lessons. This is pretty cool. My mom found this for me.
Oh, fun.
This is the 100 greatest sports stars, but came out in
Sports heroes.
Yeah, sports heroes. But it came out in 1954. So it's just funny because like a lot of these guys you definitely heard of, but you don't know much about because it was a long time ago. And then half of them you have no idea. So
do I see a Sammy Snead on the cover?
Little Sam Snead definitely on the cover. Probably a little Babe Dietrichson. So our history lesson of the day. This is one I absolutely know about just because I was obsessed with baseball history when I was a kid. It's Roy Campanella, the longtime catcher for the Brooklyn Dodgers. He was the first black catcher in the history of the major leagues, and he was also one of just the great catchers in the history of Major League Baseball as well, and famously part of those Brooklyn teams that fell short so often before then breaking through. So that was a good one. That was one I definitely knew. And the other one I'll share with you today is Alexander Cartwright, who is widely considered the father of modern-day baseball. You have to wonder what Cartwright would think. He died back in 1892. But right now, Major League Baseball, it's a mess. Jeff Safford, our guy on the controls today, our producer, he's the voice of the Paddleheads, as you already know, and he gives us a lot of great baseball analysis when it comes to the MLB ranks as well. Probably later on this week, Jeff and I will have a discussion about this labor dispute that's going on in Major League Baseball because it ain't pretty. And it's all just because of money, which is just silly. But we'll continue to talk about that. But it's pertinent today because today is supposed to be the day that pitchers and catchers report. I've never been one that's like all over the moon about that. But I do know that baseball junkies, you love this day because, I mean, baseball's on the horizon. So it's a sad day for any and all of you. Let's dive into a little all basketball all the time. You've been following along for all football all the time, but I'm ready to talk hoops around here as much as we can. Not just Grizz and Bobcat hoops like we have been already, and not just high school hoops, but I want to talk some NBA hoops. First of all, the most exciting news ever this week. This has totally nothing to do with the NBA. You're going to love this. Austin and I, for those that haven't been following along, we've known each other since we were 6, and probably one of the best things probably the most common ground we share besides the NBA is music. Third Eye Blind, coming to Missoula in June. Are you stoked about this?
Oh, I didn't hear about that. That is exciting. Yes, I will definitely be going to that.
Yeah, we should definitely make that happen. That'll be very fun.
For sure.
A little Friday night action. A little Third Eye Blind at the Kell House Amphitheater. Very excited.
Well, you and I know several people that will be even more excited for sure. Some big Third Eye Blind fans out there from our high school days.
Oh yeah, dude,
for sure.
Oh yeah, I've loved Third Eye Blind, even when they sort of weren't as mainstream famous. Very cool. Have you heard of this? They announced a new one today, The Who. But not The Who like Roger Daltrey, but The Who like HU. They're a Mongolian band.
Are they coming here?
They're coming to Missoula.
Yeah.
I knew you'd be into them.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know about this until several of my music aficionados on my social media feeds were saying, this is unbelievable. I can't believe these guys are coming to Montana. So I watched a couple videos.
Oh, yeah, it's wild.
These guys, they play like the old school Mongol instruments.
It's throat singing.
And they throat sing.
It's like totally like warrior in nature, and it's warrior in content. Like if you look up the translations to what they're saying, it's as scary as it sounds.
Yeah, unbelievable. I know. I watched a music video today with the actual English subtitles, and yeah, I was terrified.
Yeah,
they're certainly a warrior band for sure, but that'll be a fun one coming up later on during concert season as well. All right, so let's start with the number one piece of NBA news that's sort of taken the league by storm. You and I were texting about this the other day. Ben Simmons for James Harden. And you and Kyle Sample both turned. Oh, wow. Look at that. No wonder I can't hear myself.
Is that my issue too?
I don't know. We're just playing radio as an experiment around here. Unbelievable. If you haven't been able to hear me whatsoever, it's because my microphone wasn't on for the last little bit. Thanks, Jeff, for telling me. Ben Simmons for James Harden. What do you think of this overall trade? Because I know I'm starting to come around on its impact on the league as a whole, but what do you think of it overall?
I mean, I don't know. It's a situation where both guys had to move, essentially, because of where they were at personally, like as individuals and not wanting to be where they were. So for the Sixers, this is not a new saga. This has been ongoing. And so to be able to get in return for a piece that you already knew was on the way out the door, that you knew you had to move in some way, to be able to turn that into James Harden, or to be maybe so fortunate as to turn that into James Harden, I think is a big win on one hand. On the other hand, what are you getting in James Harden, actually?
Right.
He's a huge name, incredible talent.
But does he even play winning basketball?
Well,
that's my biggest point of contention.
That's the thing. He is not. I mean, he doesn't have a championship, so there's that. But he also has had some moments deep in the playoffs and big moments where he's kind of folded, and his teams have not really produced when they've needed to down the stretch. Chris Paul going down was a tough one in
For sure.
Game 5, whatever series that was against the Warriors. So there's nothing that he can do about that. But the point is this: he's been with a few different teams now recently that he hasn't just fit with or gelled with. And I'm thinking of like the later years of the Rockets, or the last year with the Rockets, where he's just not happy. And he's become this sort of prima donna figure.
Sure.
That if all his needs aren't met and he's not getting things his way, he becomes kind of unmanageable and unpredictable. And therefore, coming into the Sixers, while you think it might sound okay or good for them, I don't really know. Let's go best case scenario. He shows up. He works hard. He buys in. Him and Joel get along well enough. They can, tolerate each other's egos and be in the same locker room and all that stuff, and it goes okay. It doesn't even have to go well. Let's say all that stuff happens. You're looking, I think, pretty good. You're looking at a team that has a shot to go to the finals for sure, if they can figure out their little locker room stuff that the Sixers just haven't really been able to figure out. And James Harden hasn't been able to figure out.
No question. But you know where I stand on this, though. I always think that if you have a top, let's say, 6 to 8 guy, which I think right now Joel Embiid is a top 5 or 6 player in the NBA.
Healthy Joel Embiid is... He's one of the transcendent center.
No question. He's one of the best players in the NBA, and when he's at his best, you're right. He's one of the best centers that the league has ever seen, truly, because of his diversity and just his ability to make shots from so many different unorthodox angles. That said, like I'm looking at Joel Embiid's last 10 games. 50 against the Magic, 40 against the Clippers, 38 against the Spurs, 42 against the Pelicans, 36 against the Kings, 27 against the Mavs, 40 against the Bulls, 34 against the Suns, 40 against the Cavs. I don't know why you'd want a guy that's going to take away from that.
Well,
because isn't James Harden just going to take shots away from Joel Embiid?
Yeah.
And can they play off of each other?
I think
can James Harden play with anybody? That's my question. I think both these guys would be much better off if they were just by themselves on their own teams, surrounded by role players.
Well, James Harden had that in Houston, and he decided he didn't want that.
James Harden want anything besides just to live in Texas and have his preferred nightlife?
I don't think so. That's the thing. I really don't. I don't think of course he wants to win. He wants a championship. What basketball player doesn't, of course. But when your actions line up with certain other things that aren't in line with a championship, and that's not where your true focus is, then is that really truly what you want?
Exactly. James Harden is summed up in a nutshell by this, and I won't go too far down this because you got to be careful, whatever. The fact of the matter is that the news of Ben Simmons and James Harden getting traded for each other was actually broken by a exotic dancer at a gentleman's club. A young woman in Texas tweeted, "I work at said club, and I just was hanging out, quote unquote, with James Harden. James Harden's going to be a Sixer." And then Adrian Wojnarowski reported it the next morning. That sums up James Harden as much as you need to know James Harden. I'm not scrutinizing, do whatever you want with your personal life. I'm just saying that is a microcosm of James Harden.
For sure. Yeah. So to your question, though, of like, is this going to work on the court with taking away shots from Joel Embiid? I think so. James Harden is going to take a certain volume of shots, but I also don't think that he's a guy that has to hit a certain number.
Yeah.
And he's such a high assist volume guy as well that he gets as much satisfaction from that. From like, you know, you have guys that they really want to get their 30 points or whatever, and that like feeds their ego and makes them feel validated or makes them feel like they're in that superstar role or whatever. I don't think James Harden necessarily needs that because he's not just a scorer, because he can get super inflated assist numbers as well.
Sure.
And I think he is plenty happy doing that. If he gets 20 and 15 a night, I think he's happy. It'll probably be more like 27 and 12, but 8 of those 12 assists are going to go to Joel Embiid. And those two playing a game where they can stretch a defense and be on opposite ends of the court. James Harden can hit anybody from anywhere on the court. He's a very skilled passer, and he's a very creative passer. And then when they run any sort of pick and roll, like, what are you going to do against those two?
That's true.
In a pick and roll.
That's true, especially because B can pop now too, which is crazy.
Yeah,
that he's added that to his game.
Yeah. So and they can run an action for James Harden on one side and sort of use that as deception to get Joel pretty much alone on the other side and vice versa. And I think it'll work just fine on the offensive end. I just am, the big thing is Joel Embiid's health and James Harden's mental stability.
Just engagement.
And emotional stability.
That's exactly right. Nuanez now ESPN Radio as well as SWX Montana Television. Austin Tutel in studio with me talking all things NBA. On the other side of this, I've been so disenfranchised with Ben Simmons because I just think it's utterly ridiculous that you're getting paid $35 million a year and you don't show up for work. That's crazy to just forfeit $8 million paychecks at a time like he did twice before he got traded from Philadelphia. But that said, I'm come around to the impact of this because if Kevin Durant can get back healthy, who knows what's going to happen with the Kyrie Irving saga, if that's going to change before the playoffs are finished or not with his current vaccination status and the fact that eliminates him from playing in home games in Brooklyn. But if you got Kevin Durant, who's probably at the end of his window in terms of being a premier NBA, I mean, he's always going to be so good. But the time is now for Durant if he wants to stack championships, if he can stack championships. And pairing Simmons with him, I don't know how it works offensively, but I do think it's a way better fit offensively than it was with Simmons and Embiid. But it's on the defensive side that I think that it makes so many waves for the Nets. I think Simmons is such a good perimeter defender, and if then KD can be your second best perimeter defender, now you're a nightmare defensively for your opponents.
Yeah, well, and then KD's obviously got like his help side interior defense is also such a big presence. Another thing that I think Ben Simmons brings to this team that James Harden, even though I was talking about his ability to get the ball to anyone at any time, right? But Ben Simmons is going to get out and run and push the ball, and he takes it directly off the glass, and he's going, and he's looking, and he's up, and he can finish in transition too. He doesn't just have to find someone open. So their transition game just went up a level, which, in an era where the three-point line has become king, that's kind of a sneaky way to get a leg up, I think, and get some easy high percentage looks, which also can be three-pointers. But anyway, I think that's a super obvious upgrade is, like you said, the perimeter defense from him and then what he brings in transition. And And just overall rebounding in his size at that position is those are all upgrades from that trade that they didn't necessarily have with Harden.
Let's take a look at the standings real quick because we have not really dived into any of the team performances. We've only been talking about individuals in the sporadic NBA chats we have had here on ESPN Radio. Right now, the Miami Heat, the best record in the Eastern Conference, half a game ahead of the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls and the Cavs, probably the two biggest surprises in the East. Then you got the Sixers, the Bucks, the Celtics, the Raptors, the Nets. None of those are surprises, but the order is maybe a surprise. Brooklyn's got to be better than that. I know they've had a lot of ups and downs in terms of their lineup solidification, but how have the Bulls gotten to this point? Bulls and Cavs, those are the two sort of anomalies that they got going right now. What's been the keys for those two young squads?
Well, the Bulls I can talk about with a lot more confidence and knowledge, and I can give you some specific reasons.
Well, I know the Cavs are doing something kind of unique with the fact that they're playing Lauri Markkanen at the 3, and then they're playing Evan Mobley, who was one of the top draft pick. I guess he was the number 2 overall pick last year, and they're playing Jared Allen at the 5. That's 6'11", 7 feet, 7 feet. I mean, that's a lot of defense. It's a little bit unorthodox what they're doing, but that's sort of been the key for the Cavs. But what can you tell us about the Bulls?
The only thing I was going to say about the Cavs is they're just doing it with youth.
Sure.
And this kid, Mobley, has been the key for them. And there's been a lot of things that they've needed to have happen, but that no one saw this kid doing what he's doing, and no one saw the Cavs being anywhere near even the play-in game. And they're sitting, I think, 3rd in the East right now, maybe 4th.
Bad scout by me. I watched Evan Mobley twice last year, including once in person. I didn't think he had it. I thought he was tremendously athletic and talented. I mean, I knew he was going to have it to be in the NBA. I just didn't think he was going to be one of the front runners for Rookie of the Year. I thought he had a lot of maturing to do, and I thought he was kind of soft. He's been great so far for the Cavs as the number 3 overall pick out of USC. I watched him against the Grizz last year and then watched him in the NCAA tournament against Kansas, and they dismantled Kansas. So I guess maybe I shouldn't be surprised. Very rare to see Kansas lose by 30 in the NCAA tournament. But Mobley, he's definitely been a revelation.
Yeah, and I have not seen a full Cavs game this year, so I can't even tell you what they're doing and why it's working, but it is, and it's shocking and thrilling all at the same time.
What's the biggest flaw of the NBA's deliverance of their product? They deliver their product as well as anybody in the world for a variety of different reasons and in a variety of different ways. The one thing that they fall short on is their national TV games don't highlight enough teams, particularly when those teams are from small markets. Like, have a flex schedule. Show me the Cavs. If they got the second best record in the East, put them on TV.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm so tired of watching Russell Westbrook jam the ball to the bottom of the rim. It's just like when the Lakers and the Bulls and the Knicks and the Celtics, if any of those teams are bad, you just have to endure watching them over and over and over again. It's just silly.
Right. The Bulls are very exciting, very fun to watch. They just have probably more than any team that I can think of in recent years, other than you would say the dominant Warrior teams.
Sure.
They just have the pieces that they need on that team.
Yeah.
And they just fit. They just work. And the
fact that DeMar DeRozan has now here in year 12, year 13. I mean, he's been in the league for a while now. Mm-hmm. He's fully fulfilled it. He's always been a good player. He's an all NBA player this year, averaging 28 a game. That's been a huge boost for them. But also, Nikola Vucevic was a hidden gem in Orlando, and now people are sort of getting to see what he brings. He's he's one of the best centers in the league.
The Bulls' offseason was maybe the best offseason that I've seen from any, non-instant championship contender. Durant going to the Warriors that's a pretty good offseason. But
That's the most mad I've ever been about an offseason transaction. When I read that on my phone, I was like, just get out of here. This is so dumb.
Right. But to bring in DeRozan and Vucevic, and then to add pieces like Lonzo Ball and who's the headband, the kid?
Jalen Green?
No.
See the headband kid? He's the Jalen Green or Javonte Green.
Caruso.
Oh yeah, Alex Caruso for sure, of course.
Baldy
from the Lakers.
Yeah. they brought on a bunch of guys that fit what they needed. They brought on two really good players in DeRozan and Vucevic. People didn't really know about Vucevic because of what you're talking about, this small market, low record team, Orlando Magic. That's where he lives, so no one knows about him. No one hears about him, but he's down there the last few seasons averaging like 27 and 12, just quietly. And he's not a big name. He's not flashy. He's not exciting to watch. He's not putting out highlights, but there he is every night producing. And some people would say, well, it's easy to do that when your team sucks, which is somewhat true.
Totally. But somebody's got to score the points. Every team in the NBA is scoring 100 points.
Guess who doesn't suck? Every defense that you play every night. Right. So you still have to be a very good player to do what he was doing in Orlando. And so to bring him in kind of in a way that, I don't know, I didn't think it really got talked about much because of DeRozan coming, which obviously that's going to take precedence in the conversation. And that's like a pretty eye-popping move. You put him next to Zach LaVine. That's two very exciting players, right? But Vucevic, man, he's crucial for that team. And the way that they use him at the top of the key to get the offensive action moving, if you look at Lonzo Ball's assist numbers, I bet you at least 3 come
per game, yeah.
Entirely effortlessly. A screen, nothing's there to read, so he just dumps to Vooch, who's wide open, and pops a 3. And those little things that you can rely on every night end up, just having that consistency and that predictability. It's big. The defensive presence of Caruso and Lonzo Ball on the perimeter.
Yep.
This kid, number 24, I can't remember his name. He's come on strong. I think he's a rookie. I don't think anyone necessarily expected anything out of him.
Javonte Green, yep.
There's been some
he's bounced back and forth. He's been in the G League. It's only his second NBA season, but he's 28 years old.
So it's him, and I think there's another rookie.
Sure.
Maybe number 12. Anyway, they've just got guys that have stepped up when there's been injuries and have filled roles. I think what you're seeing is just a team that's bought into a system.
Yep.
And a system that the coaches believe in, and that organization top to bottom is just on. They have a singular vision, and they're operating within that, and everyone's bought in, and it's working really well. There's actually an interview with Caruso about the going to the Bulls from the Lakers.
Yeah.
And the conversation that he details that he had with the Bulls was pretty revealing in terms of like,
their vision.
This is who we are.
Yeah.
And this is who we think you are, and we think you fit perfectly. And he was like, yeah, I think you're right. This sounds great. And if you know what kind of player he is, he's full effort, full intensity, defense, something to prove. All he wants to do is win. All he wants to do is compete. And if you take those individual characteristics of that player and apply them to an entire team, you're going to be scary.
Nuanez now ESPN Radio as well as SWX Montana Television. There's only 3 teams in the NBA with 40-plus wins. They're all in the Western Conference. We'll talk about some of that on the other side. Plus, keep it hoops heavy. We'll talk to a young lady, Allie Cummings, a senior at Billings Senior High School, who's giving back to her community and starring on the basketball court. All hoops all the time, presented by Sportsbet Montana. Keep it right here, ESPN Radio. Buying or selling a home can be an intimidating task. Brent Wahlberg and the Wahlberg team of Windermere Real Estate are here to make you feel comfortable no matter where you're at in the process. The official realtors of Grizzly Athletics have more than 4 decades of experience in Western Montana. Brent and his team can not only find you your perfect home or buyer, but they can also teach you about the great city of Missoula and its tradition-laden sports teams. The Wahlberg team works as a family to help fulfill your real estate needs all over Western Montana. If you need help with residential, land, investment, or commercial, give Brent Wahlberg and the Wahlberg team a call today. Part of the glory of building a business comes from leaving a legacy to ensure your business continues thriving into the future. Have you asked yourself lately, what is your plan? Forming a personalized business succession plan is essential to know the passion you put into your business will carry on. Nick Tabor at Westpac Wealth is here to help you navigate all your business succession and retirement planning needs. Give Nick a call at 728-6699 and keep the spirit of possibility vibrant while making your future more tax efficient with a personalized business succession and retirement plan for you.
Like most Montanans, we love a good steak. And because we're the Montana Club, we take the steaks we serve very seriously. We're confident to say that our custom grilled steaks are as good a steak as you're going to get. Now we're proud to add regularly sourced, naturally raised Castle Rock bison ribeye to our selection. And remember, the Montana Club steak entrees include the sides. Come into the Montana Club today for an unrivaled steak experience. The Montana Club on Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
There is still plenty of winter left to enjoy, and Bob Ward's has the gear to help you make the most of it. Right now, you can get screaming deals during Bob Ward's midwinter clearance sale. Find great deals on winter season gear store-wide. Outfit the family for a day on the snow without hurting your wallet at Bob Ward's. Get a new ski package for less. Find outerwear at super low prices, and take a hike with the best prices on winter boots. Bob Ward's midwinter clearance sale is on now. Bob Ward's, sports and outdoors, Montana style since 1917.
You already know Tagliari Delicatessen has the best sandwiches in all of Montana. Heck, even People Magazine and the Food Network say so. But Tagliari Deli has more than just the most delicious sandwiches this side of the Mississippi. Stop into the shop on the corner of Beckwith and Higgins to check out all they have to offer. Tagliari takes pride in offering the best selection of imported old world wines that are sure to please a variety of palates. Pair the wine with a sandwich, a cheese, a meat plate, or both. Stop in to Tagliari Deli today.
Backcountry hunters and anglers. You may have heard of us, but what are we about? BHA is the voice for your wild public lands, waters, and wildlife. From national level policy work to boots on the ground projects like public land cleanups, we work across North America to uphold the legacy of our public lands and waters, as well as your opportunity to hunt, fish, and recreate on them. Stand up for public lands and waters and become a BHA member today. Visit backcountryhunters.org.
What up, Montana? Welcome back. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, as well as SWX Montana Television. Happy now for our latest Mattress Firm Student of the Week. This one's actually from mid-January, so we're still catching up a little bit here on Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, as well as SWX Montana Television. And this week, it's Billings Senior Allie Cummings. That's right, two seniors. She goes to Billings Senior. She's also a senior there at Billings Senior. Allie, thanks so much for joining us. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. First and foremost, just take us through the season so far. I know that Lady Bronx have been battling all year long. I know you had a crosstown against Billings West. Came up short with that one last weekend, but West, one of the best teams in the state. So what have you thought of the season so far?
Yeah, our season has been really fun. I've just been trying to take it all in. It's my senior season. It's actually my last season playing with my sister. We've played together ever since we were in second grade. So I'm just trying to take it all in, hold in all the memories I can. And it's just been a blast so far.
That's awesome. Well, how old is your sister?
My sister's a junior. Then I also have another sister that's a freshman.
Oh, very cool. So you guys are all in high school together. Well, that's awesome. Your parents probably love that. Very fun for them to get to follow you all the way along. What's been the best parts about this senior year? Because I know you must love basketball, because I know you're going to go play in the college level as well. But what do you think of just this season so far?
This season has been really fun. We have a totally different lineup than last year. Last year we had a bunch of posts, and this year we've had to change all of our plays and stuff to be more ran around guards, just having one primary post this year. So that's just been really fun, and we just had a really fun time all playing together.
And this upcoming week, you guys have a couple games, so just tell people about it. Well, what's on the docket this week for Billings Senior?
So this week, on Tuesday, we actually played Belgrade, and then Friday we have another crosstown game against Skyview. And so we'll be going to Belgrade tomorrow. Hopefully we can pull off a win there, and then maybe snag one from Skyview on Friday.
Allie Cummings joining us. She's our Mattress Firm Student of the Week. We will be giving away Mattress Firm Student of the Weeks each week throughout the academic school year. We're up to about 30 of them so far. And that will culminate then at the end of the academic school year with our Mattress Firm Student of the Year. Big scholarship coming from Mattress Firm. So if you want to enter any and all aspiring students that you know, the only requirements, great students and involved in the community in some form or fashion. Doesn't have to be athletes. Oftentimes they are, but just some sort of extracurricular outside of the school, the academic rigors. It's Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, as well as SWX Montana Television. And Allie, let's talk about some of your coaching, because I know that you've put on a hoops camp for elementary school kids the last couple of years, and that's all gone towards a good cause of raising money. So just tell people a little bit about the background of that and how you got into that.
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to do something to give back to the community before I leave and go play college basketball in California. And so what I wanted to do was put on a free camp, because I know, like traveling all over, it can be very expensive for camps. So I wanted to put on a free camp for young ages that they all could just come in and work on their basketball skills and learn like how to play and find their love for the game as I did as a little kid.
Well, oftentimes, too, coaching teaches you so much about playing, too. So have you felt yourself kind of understand the game better, and has that helped you as a player?
Yes, being a player and being a coach is like completely different, but being able to do both has really helped me just like see the game better, learning how to like work with others and also like build my leadership on how to like help younger ones and build their relationship with the game as well.
I know this has gone towards a good cause, so just tell people about sort of the money you guys have been raising for scholarships. How's that part work?
Yeah, so all the money that I've been raising has gone towards Upward, and Upward is where I actually started playing basketball, and that's where I had my first games and my first practices. And so the money that I raise from my camps, I give it to Upward so that people that can't afford to like cover the cost to have their kid playing Upward, they can use that scholarship money to like fund their kid throughout the program.
Allie Cummings joining us. She's a senior at Billings Senior High School, a burgeoning basketball coach, as well as a 4.0 student at Billings Senior and an all-conference guard for the Lady Broncs. And Allie, I know next year you're heading down to San Diego, right? So Point Loma, I've grown familiar with that university because they had such a great run in men's basketball a couple of years ago, all the way to the national championship game. But what do you like about the opportunity there? I mean, that sounds pretty darn good to me, going to school in San Diego.
Yes, I fell in love with the school. I fell on when I met the campus, the coaches, the teammates. Actually, I can walk from the beach to my dorm, so that's always a plus. And the coaches and the teammates are all just really positive, and they all just work really well as like a team. And that's what I wanted, was like a new family to build, because I know I'll be down there by myself. And I just loved how like they were all just so positive, and that's why I chose Point Loma.
We gotta love it. She's our Mattress Firm Student of the Week, Allie Cummings from Billings Senior High School. Allie, best of luck with the rest of your senior year. Best of luck with your two big games this week, and best of luck with everything else. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Impressive young lady. Thanks to Allie Cummings, our Mattress Firm Student of the Week from 2 weeks ago. We'll continue rolling through these sporadically but consistently here on Nuanez. Now, you have a great student out there you want to nominate. The only requirements are that they're excellent students and they're involved in extracurriculars or community service throughout the state of Montana. That's it. They don't have to be athletes. A lot of times that they are. You can always visit mattressfirmmt.com/students. We'll have a Mattress Firm Student of the Week each and every week of the academic year, leading up to then the end of the academic semester, in which we will award a Mattress Firm Student of the Year with a substantial scholarship. That's mattressfirmmt.com/students. More NBA talk. Are the Suns for real? Why is nobody talking about the Bucks? What should the Lakers do? Austin Tutel and myself, Colter Nuanez, continue rapping about the NBA. Keep it right here, ESPN Radio.
Oh, I love family road trips. The wind in my ears.
Good dog.
Treats in my mouth. And peace of mind, knowing we went to Les Schwab for our tires, brakes, and alignment. If we had gone to one of those cheap tire stores that don't offer those services, I'd be a doggone wreck. Like Les Schwab, my family's safety is my first priority. Well, that and treats, obviously.
Swing by or book online. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Have you ever tried yoga?
I haven't.
Then you should try Summit Independent Living's adaptive yoga program to enjoy exercise and improve your quality of life. Summit is offering free online activities promoting fun and friendship for those living with paralysis and other disabilities, their families, and caregivers who may experience isolation or loneliness due to COVID-19.
Find Summit Independent Living on Facebook. Go to summitilc.org. Call 406-728-1630. Activities funded by the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation.
Whether you're in the restaurant business or you just want to host any big event, J&V Restaurant Supply can make sure you have everything you need. J&V Restaurant Supply is your home for everything kitchen. Whether you're a bear or a bobcat, an eagle or a Scotty, J&V Restaurant has everything you might need. They have locations in Bozeman, Billings, and Great Falls. If you can't make it in, J&V also has a great website, jvrestaurant.com. Get everything you need for your next event at J&V, your restaurant specialists.
Back by popular demand, Zootown Sports Cards presents the Missoula Sports Card and Collectibles Show. Check out exceptionally rare and coveted cards and goods from more than 40 vendors from around the state and region. It's all going down at the Doubletree Hotel Saturday, April 2nd, 10 till 5. Admission for attendees is free. JSA authentication will be on site, so come check out the hottest in the memorabilia industry at the Missoula Sports Card and Collectibles Show at the Doubletree, April 2nd. Presented by Zootown Sports Cards of Missoula.
This is Mike Nugent with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Berkshire Hathaway provides Western Montana with full-time real estate professionals for you whenever you need us. Our reputation as the state's most knowledgeable and available real estate group has helped build unmatched trust in the Garden City and statewide. If you have been thinking of making a real estate move in the short or long term, give me a call. No pressure, no expectations. Just professional opinions and service at whatever pace you are comfortable with. Give me, Mike Nugent, a call today, 531-1802. And remember, every question is good to ask.
The Discovery Ski Education Foundation raffle is raising funds for the Discovery Ski team. A $20 raffle ticket gets you in the drawing for either 2022 Nordica Santa Ana 98 skis or a 5-day ski pass to Discovery Ski Area. Discovery Ski Education Foundation is a nonprofit organization that provides technical training for kids while promoting the fun and enjoyment of skiing. Email Carolyn at MissoulaBroadcasting.com for more info on how to purchase your raffle ticket today. That's Carolyn at MissoulaBroadcasting.com.
1, 2, 3. Nuanez now on ESPN Radio.
Yo, what's up, Montana? Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having an outstanding evening. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here on Nuanez Now. It's ESPN Radio as well as SWX Montana Television. Time now for the final word presented by Eagle Satellite. Have you heard about the great prices on TV and internet that Eagle Satellite is offering? They got TV for $57.99 a month with free installation plus internet for $50 a month. Eagle Satellite is locally owned and operated and has been best serving Montana for over 40 years. Our NBA conversation continues. Talk about a couple of the best teams in the West. The Phoenix Suns, after winning the Western Conference a year ago, coming up just short in the finals, are atop the Western Conference standings. They have a 46-10 record, best in the NBA by about 4 games. They are 5 games overall in the standings clear of the Golden State Warriors, who are second best record in the league. And then the Memphis Grizzlies have been one of the revelations so far of this year. So much of that has to do with the emergence of Ja Morant. We all knew Ja Morant was a phenomenal athlete, but the fact that he has vaulted himself into the conversation with some of the other most untradeable and unbelievable assets in the league, I mean, he's like on par with Luka Doncic right now, wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure.
And that is I would not have predicted that. I thought Ja Morant was going to be very good. I did not think he was going to be like this otherworldly talent this soon. I thought maybe he could get there eventually, but he's been outstanding. I mean, Memphis is ridiculous this year, and so much of that starts with their young point guard.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's in the top 3, I think, in the league in points in the paint.
Which is amazing.
Tony Parker used to do that perennially. He was like always the second leading scorer in the paint. And I don't know who was ahead of him, but some huge human.
Sure.
Yeah, watching him play is truly, it's just a delight because of the way the guy moves, the way the guy creates and sees space and finds space and moves through space and contorts his body and keeps control of the basketball somehow.
And then also happens to just have like a 50-inch vertical.
Well, that helps.
Hitting his head on the rim.
That helps.
The highlight of the year.
But when you're scoring like 16 points in the paint a game, those aren't all dunks.
Sure.
Like, he's doing some like acrobatic contortionist things.
For sure.
And then laying it up or hitting a floater or whatever. So, yeah, he's just really fun to watch. The visual test with him is like instant. You're like, wow, he moves differently than everyone else.
That's exactly right. So right now, Memphis is in third in the West. We see this in the NBA all the time, though, now, because load management is such a huge portion of chasing a championship. We oftentimes see these upstart young teams that haven't really been there before go out and win a bunch of games and get a good seed, and maybe they have then overblown expectations in terms of truly chasing a championship because they were trying to win a bunch of games in the regular season to prove themselves, and then they don't have enough gas left in the tank down the stretch. Is Memphis a real championship? I mean, could they win the West?
I don't know.
Tough to say, right? Because they're very good, but it's a tough matchup, particularly with Phoenix, but also with Golden State.
Yeah, I think. One note before we move on to that, just in general with Memphis. Someone earlier in the season was like, "Man, Memphis is sweet, huh?" I was like, "Well, I don't know if Memphis is sweet, but Ja is sweet."
Sure.
And then he went down, and guess what? Memphis just kept doing
winning.
They just kept winning, and so they've had just a balanced attack, really, and obviously it's spearheaded by Ja, but they've got like 8 or 9 guys that get regular real minutes and get regular real production, and so it's pretty impressive the consistency of the production of each of those members on that team. It's not just 1 or 2 guys every night. It's like literally like 6 dudes every night. If you look at their box scores, which I do because I'm a nerd, they're consistently have more than just their starting 5 in double digits, which that alone is already, not every team does that. I think last night there were 3 guys that combined for like 81 points on the Blazers. And, that's kind of the format for a lot of teams is 3 guys are going to score, 80% of your points. But with Memphis, it's just balance. And, so their second unit comes in and usually has a leg up. So that helps. But to your point of being a contender, I don't know, man. A season like this that's been so unpredictable, I don't know if I can limit contenders like I have in the past.
Sure.
It used to be so clear. It's like, no, there's like 4 teams that could possibly win.
Totally.
This year, and maybe even last year, it just feels like more and more there's teams. It's starting to feel more like college in that regard.
Sure.
Not the game itself, but just in terms of who could actually come out on top.
See, I look at it the other way. I think that there's no teams that can win the championship. The only teams you could actually talk me into winning the NBA championship are the Milwaukee Bucks, the Golden State Warriors, and the Phoenix Suns. That's it.
Which is, I understand that. But I also
I don't know why everybody's sleeping on the Bucks either. That's what's so interesting to me. They're defending champs. That's the part that annoys me about the NBA news cycle so much.
Yeah,
is once a team's a proven commodity, people don't like talking about them anymore. They mention the Bucks, but they don't like play up the storyline.
It's the same effect of like MVP voter fatigue.
Exactly,
right? Like
for sure.
LeBron James. 2 years in a row. Well, we can't vote for him for a 3rd year in a row, even though he's the best player.
Sure.
Like, we're sick of him. Let's put someone else in there. With a championship team, it kind of happens, too, in terms of, like, yeah, they're supposed to be in the conversation. Yeah, they're supposed to be there. So we don't need to give them the same attention necessarily. Like, who's going to be here to dethrone them? Who's going to be there to take them away? So then you start talking about other teams more, I think, just naturally.
Nuanez now, ESPN Radio. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We could talk NBA all day. Wish we had more time for this. Austin Tutel, thanks for swinging by, man. That's very fun.
You are welcome, Coulter, anytime.
Ryan Tutel will lead the show tomorrow, part of our 10th anniversary celebration. We also have a variety of other fun guests for you, including the return of Alex Esselman from SWX Montana Television. Also, working on this, still trying to nail down a time, but the man who brought Cooper Kupp to Division I football, he might join us as well. He's got a Montana connection. I'll leave it at that. We'll tease that a little later on, and we'll dive into prep hoops and to tell you about some of the things going on around the world of high school basketball as well. Thanks so much for being here with us. We'll be back at it 4 p.m. tomorrow. You can find everything on the Nuanez Now podcast presented by the Advocates as well as Sportsbet Montana. We'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Which would you rather be? An armchair quarterback or an on the edge of your cushy leather seat chair quarterback? Turf Club Sportsbook is now